Let's go.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on this end of the week episode. Good to be with you. Please, as you come in, say hello. Let us know where you're coming in from. How you doing, Coach Stephen?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for asking, Dave. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very excited. I've just booked my flight to Singapore in June, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, what's
Going to try
happening
and
in
do
June?
just going to try and do some meetups there, and
Okay.
gonna pop over to Malaysia at the same time, and maybe do a little bit of a carnivore presentation and Q&A if we can set it up.
Oh,
So
is,
that'd
is
be
it
cool.
you? Is it your gig? Are you setting it up, or you've been invited as a guest?
It's just it's more of an informal thing. Like
All right.
because I was going to Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
A friend asked me come over to Malaysia
Mm-hmm.
because it's like an hour's flight, right? Come over to Malaysia and maybe we can set up a quick Q&A kind of presentation thing, and then we'll all do a meetup.
Cool.
Yeah. So
That's very
yeah, and
good.
it's in a nice area. It's in Penang, so quite tropical and green and beachy and stuff. G'day, Aid. How you doing? Elvira, how are you? Who else we got? We got Gaza. I think I'm just gonna go Gaza. How you doing? And the feral grandma's here. How you doing? Good to see you
Yes.
all. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll just say before we get started chatting, please, if you've got any questions or discussion points, put a Q in front of it, and I'll tag those and we'll get to them. So it's 10:30 there.
It is 10:30 in state-controlled Britain. Yes.
Yeah, and so last week it was kind of rainy, foggy, that kind of thing. Have you got better weather today?
It's grey. So yeah, that's slightly better. It's not raining so much.
It's slightly better. Karen from
Yes.
Derbyshire. How's it in Derbyshire, Karen?
Well, I'm in Derbyshire.
Oh, okay. So it's grey.
Well, it's quite a big part of the world, so it might be lovely where she is and grey where I am, but I very much doubt it.
Does it go like, is it a bit up and down? Like, I'm from Melbourne, and in Melbourne, it can be dark grey, cold in the morning. 2 hours later, you're getting closer to lunch. It could be 30 degrees and hot, and then it can start raining in the afternoon. Is it like that around your area, or?
Well, actually, you can you can wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and it can be raining really hard and it can be very cold and quite horrible. And by 11 o'clock, it's the same. Sorry. And then by 3 o'clock, it's pretty much the same. And then the next day, it's pretty much the same. We literally had about 60 days of rain every day. And 1 day of sunshine. So yeah, it's really up and down.
Sounds like the title of a book or a movie, like 60 days and nights of rain or something.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it was really awful. And like I say, the water pump thing in our in our what's the word, basement, because that broke, I had to manually get rid of the water. So to tell you how much it rained, it was 8 buckets of water 4 times a day.
Wow.
That's how much water there was. Incredible.
Yeah.
And this is not a joke. It was only by mid-January did they lift a hose pipe ban in one of the areas. That's how bad we manage the water. That's really true.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
It's an awful country.
Yeah, Aid's saying, unlike Singapore, which is always 32 degrees and rain. Yeah, it's humid as you like there. Yeah.
Yes.
WD25A. The UK has the most variable, unpredictable weather on Earth. This is because of the placement of the jet stream, apparently.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And hi from a damp Lancashire.
Yeah, do you like the weather in Japan? What is the weather in Japan then?
It depends where you are. Where I am in Osaka, in this region of Japan, it's kind of, it goes from poo to poo, you know, like it's there's summer is hot and humid and unbearable. Winter is cold, freezing and dry and unbearable. And interspersed in with that, there's rainy days, and there's about 2 weeks of the year where it's nice, which is spring. It's, I mean, I'm exaggerating, but it just swings. It's massive extremes, you know.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Oh no, the Wi-Fi isn't the best for D. We've got a question here. Gaza wants to know, hi mates, is there any potential issue with not eating majority ruminant meat, still eating only meat, of course? This last month I've had a lot of pork and way less beef.
Any potential issue with not eating majority of ruminant meat? So yeah, well, pork, as you know, I'm quite a fan of. If the pig has been fed like acorns or things that are good for it, but it is higher in omega-6s. That's why people sort of tend to say pork is not good for the linoleic acid, basically. So omega-6s are higher than they are on ruminants. So beef and lamb doesn't have such a high omega-6 profile. But you know, I think you could. I genuinely think you could do all right on carnivore without the ruminants, but I think it's better if you have them because they just have a better profile of amino acids. So beef is often pushed, but I think lamb is slightly better. In the UK, it's slightly better. Although in saying that, I had lamb last night. It was bloody awful, taste wise, which really surprised me. So and that's from our local farmer. So I mean, the beef. If you look at beef tallow compared to lard, so lard is the fat from a pig, and tallow is the fat from beef. Sego di Manso is the Italian for beef fat. By the way, I learned that yesterday.
Sego di Manso.
Yeah, that's Italian. So yeah, I think you would do better. You would definitely do better if you had some ruminants because of the profile of the amino acids and the fats. But if you're doing well with pork and less beef, then that answers your question as well, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And it's really good for B1, right?
Oh yes, the B vitamin in pork are really good. Yeah, well done. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when I was when I was drinking really heavily, I knew that I would be depleting B1. So like pork was one of the things that I prioritized eating all the time. Rather than just giving up the drink, I was like, I've got to eat lots of pork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were a healthy alcoholic.
That's right. I was looking after my health. I was.
Yes.
Brendan Brigglestone. Hi guys, Brendan from Bunyip. Question regarding your theories behind a high, I nearly read that as steak and butter gang. High SHBG level. What's that?
Sex hormone binding globulin. Which is often associated with well, if it's high, then you have low testosterone, and if you have high testosterone, then you have low SHBG. It can be high because you have high levels of estrogen, for instance. That could be one of the things. So if you're having a lot of estrogen mimicking things like, I don't know, mineral water from plastic bottles, then you could.
Here's some details.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Well, I don't really know. let's just talk generally, really, because I can get into that, but that's still not enough. But yes, if you look at the main issues, let's first talk about the main issues, and then we'll get into the detail, if that's okay, if you don't mind that. So yeah, normally the biggest culprit is something which is estrogen promoting. That is the biggest problem. Low insulin actually suppresses sex hormone binding globulin normally. So So insulin suppresses sex hormone binding globulin. Insulin does. So when you go on a low carb carnivore diet, you don't. I don't like the word insulin suppression. So insulin being low, physiologically and appropriately low, can see slight rises in sex hormone binding globulin. Not to be bad. The problem is this whole thing could take about an hour to answer, because we're getting into what's called normative ranges. So normative ranges are the ranges that are arbitrary and based on people eating carbohydrates, and therefore if they're eating carbohydrates, they have higher levels of insulin. So everything becomes irrelevant, really, when you're trying to get to talk about ranges and whether you're in range or out of range. And this is basically my entire life, because if you look at those numbers, if you put his numbers back on.
Oh, yeah.
If you
Sorry,
don't
just
mind.
1 second. Yeah,
That's all right.
Just 1 sec. Okay.
Right. So if you look at the sex hormone binding globulin, you would say that's elevated, but it's not elevated in the context of this way of eating, but it's elevated in the context of the arbitrary normative ranges from the labs. So the total testosterone, if you look at that, that's actually pretty high, which is good, right? Good, in inverted commas. What have we got then? You've got free testosterone. You could say that free testosterone is sort of relatively modest, I suppose, but you've got the elevated sex hormone binding globulin. So that's probably, the free testosterone is probably locked into the SHBG. See? So there's a lot to unpack there. But you have got the estrogen on the higher end for a male. So the estradiol is probably the main driver. That's estrogen is stimulating the liver to produce sex hormone binding globulin. Albumin there is again above the normal range, but that could be because Brendan did the test and he was dehydrated. So it could, because again, the thing I'm always talking about is the concentration effect. So if you're dehydrated, the concentration of everything in your blood appears higher. So I would retest, and I would make sure that my urine was straw colored. I would make sure it's not clear or dark. Make sure you're hydrated properly. Have a 8 to 12 hour fast and retest, and avoid drinking from plastic bottles or having anything in plastic at home.
Thank you for your question, Brendan. Okay.
I think that makes sense.
While I'm looking for another question that I've tagged, I just wanted to tell you, Coach Stephen, one of the things that I've taken from you that it's about salt. So I have always salted my food since I've been carnivore, salted my food like a fiend. You know, there's like more salt. It looks like snowflakes on the thing, you know.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm eating enough salt by doing that. But as much as you've talked about it, I was starting to think, I wonder if I'm not eating enough salt or taking enough salt, because I'm kind of, I have mornings where I wake up kind of like 1, 2, 3 o'clock sometimes. And so I started doing a bit of research with AI and just saying, you know, if I'm consuming this much salt, am I eating enough? And it said probably not.
Well, that's
because
interesting. That's good.
I'm eating because I'm having the breakfast, the OMAD as breakfast, right? And then I'm not having, I'm having like a magnesium and potassium mix and all that kind of thing, but I'm not really having, I'm not forcing myself to eat salt for the rest of the day. And so it was looking at how I was working things, and it said, that's probably why, and coupled with my coffee consumption, and it said, that's probably why you're waking up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guess what happened? Guess what happened?
I don't know.
Pinch of salt every hour. Haven't woken up at that time of the morning since.
There you go.
And I'm not gagging for coffee anymore.
Good.
It's amazing. I can't believe the difference.
Excellent.
I cannot believe the difference. And it's just like every hour, just grab a pinch of molten salt and put it in my mouth, and I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
And I don't drink as much water now either.
Yeah. There you go. Brilliant. You're helping your hydration status across the board, which is excellent.
And it's just been listening to you when you've talked about, I've got salt in my water all the time, you know?
Yes. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a lot. There you go. Amazing. I'm really pleased. It was like one of your success stories in reverse there.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd share that. Yeah. Yeah. So, whoa.
We've done that.
I've already showed that one, haven't I? I didn't untag it. Okay. So, Elvira from Finland, does drinking sparkling water have an effect on the MMC?
Yes, that's a good question. Right. Yes is not the answer, by the way. That was, yes. Yeah, need to know. Yes.
Kenneth Williams, yes.
Yes. The migratory motor complex is the cleanup system of your body. Is natural, but it only really works if you don't have any food for about 4 hours, or sort of coffee, really, with anyway. But yes, if you're drinking water, you'll be okay. That will be fine. But of course, you have a problem with sparkling water because you have carbon dioxide in that water. In fact, you have a bottle of carbonic acid. That's actually what you do have. And so you ingest the sparkling water. I don't mind it. I've got it here. But if you're having problems, like bloating or belching and all those sort of things, this could be your problem. So if you think of a can of Coke, let's say a can of Coke, we know that's carbonated. I only use that because most people understand what a can of Coke is. That's carbonic acid. That is fluid which has had carbon dioxide forced into it, absolutely forced in. So when you go like that, it all comes, you get the sound, and it's carbon dioxide sort of releasing and stuff like that. So we know that sparkling water is not really sparkling water, it's carbonic acid water, really. But once you drink it, obviously it disassociates and then it reassociates. So you get that in your stomach, and the body has to process it. So it won't affect the MMC, but it might affect your digestive process. It might affect your sort of, it might make you bloated or gassy, or you might do perfectly well on it, in which case, no worries.
Interesting.
Yeah, in fact, one of the weird things is this is why you can't have paper straws compared to plastic straws. So, the old experiment where you've got a bottle of Coke and you put a Mento in there and it goes, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, with a purely 100% paper straw, because you've got all these ridges and it's not perfect like a plastic straw, there's loads of areas where there's trapped air. So if you put a completely 100% paper straw into a bottle of Coke, you would get the Mento effect. You'd literally get it pouring out. Which is how you can test whether something is 100% paper.
Interesting.
Yeah. Make sure that you've got lots of kitchen roll, or you're near a sink if you want to practice that. But yeah, 100% paper straw will do that to a can of Coke or a bottle of Coke.
Wow, yeah. I prefer to use my Coke for cleaning coins or cleaning the toilet.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, someone's they let their sparkling water go flat, and I get that. I used to do that, because we'd buy the Buxton sparkling water, but it's too carbonated, so we used to let it go flat. But now our answer is we bought a soda stream, so we put the level of carbon in there, so it isn't much, so it's a little bit fizzy, just a little bit.
Based on my salt story, Phil is saying, Dave, you should interview yourself.
Yeah, you should. Or you should get Bellshine to interview you.
That's right. Yeah, I'm sure she would ask some very good questions. So from Mark Davenport, hello, gents. Do you eat minced beef 20% fat? Do you think it's okay to eat?
Yeah. I find it a bit boring. But if your budget can only go to ground beef, which that's me, guys, we have to have ground beef about 3-4 times a week because the steak is so expensive in the UK. So yeah, ground beef with 20% fat, the fattier the better. Yeah.
Yeah, that's mainly what I eat. It's like, it's just quick and easy. That's why I get it. You know, there are steaks available, but you know, I don't cook them very well, and I turn the air fryer on for too long or something. I'll mess it up some way, so I just go for the ground beef. And from Phil, how much can talking about carbonated water and plastic bottles, how much can the plastic bottle water impact estrogen levels? And does it matter if they're old plastic bottles you're reusing?
That's a good question, Phil. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to give you a percentage, you know, like, but we know that it has that effect. I don't think anyone's ever tested it. So, can the plastic bottle water impact estrogen levels? I would say yes, but I wouldn't be able to give you nailed on definite. This is by how much, because it's such a difficult thing to control for. What I would say is people that have been drinking out of plastic bottles and had bloods done, and then have listened to me and have started using glass bottles, have seen a reduction in sex hormone binding globulin. But I haven't got the data to hand. It's a great question, Phil, but that's you, Phil. You're very good at all this. Off the top of my head, I've never thought, I should quantify this. I should look at this and say more. I should ask more questions. But the problem is, you know, then I've got to ask someone, and then we get into self-reported data, which is a problem area. How many bottles, plastic bottles, did you used to use? You know, and they'd say, well, I don't really know, probably 5 a week or something. So now you don't use that at all. And I'd have to ask that of everybody. But the bottom line is, I've definitely seen improvements in SHBG when people have been drinking out of plastic bottles and then not. Why are you laughing? What have I said wrong?
No, I just saw a comment come up related to this.
Oh, go on then. What's the comment?
Aid saying, for maximum effect, put the bottles of sparkling water in the sun for a few days first. Because I guess the heat from the sun is going to make the plastic bottles even worse, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yes, people would put their plastic bottle of water in the car, leave it, and let it heat up, and that was really bad. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you.
That's all right. No, I think I've really got there.
Okay.
I mean, I actually think if you was to use old reused plastic bottles, they would actually be worse. To be honest, yeah. I don't know.
Especially they're sensitive to temperature, right? Because the older they are, the more kind of temperature changes they've.
Yeah, I think you get more chemical leaching actually, because it would sort of degrade, wouldn't it, all around it? And I think that would be worse. So actually,
I need to get myself go
on. Sorry,
I need to get myself a soda stream. I use way too much plastic. Yeah. So from Julie, carnivore-ish for 2 years, an intermittent faster prior for 2 years, LDL 357, HDL 118, triglycerides 147 before I finally quit regular wine beer consumption 6 months ago. Could that reduce my LDL?
What? Quitting beer
The,
and wine?
the wine beer consumption?
It will reduce your triglycerides more than anything. Why would you want to lower your LDL? That's the question. I like the avatar, by the way. If you believe the lipid heart hypotheses, then that's a high level of LDL. But LDL is a very poor indicator of heart disease anyway. So when you look at the 2016 British Medical Journal study, where they took 19 studies and they did a meta-analysis, they concluded that those people with the higher LDL readings lived longer. And they also, and there's subsequent studies have been done where they've looked at what is a better indicator. If you are going to believe the lipid panel, which I don't even believe any of the lipid panel is indicative of heart disease risk, because it can't inform on risk because it's all epidemiological. If you are going to use that, then the HDL to triglyceride ratio is a much better indicator of the possible incidence of heart disease. But I'm still not a great fan. But if we're going to use the panel, then use that reading. So the HDL is reasonably high, but you want the triglycerides to be lower. So when you get rid of your wine and beer consumption, you should see triglycerides lower, possibly see HDL higher, and therefore the ratio would improve. So it'd be better to be less than 1. So yeah, I think I would actually change the question to, could that reduce my triglycerides? And the triglycerides aren't a level. If we're going to get into levels, 147 is still under 150.
Yeah, because 150 is the range, right?
Yes. But it does seem to be that the lower the triglycerides, the better. But then when you get into measuring triglycerides, it's not very exact science either, because we don't measure triglycerides, we measure glycerol, and then we make an assumption of if there's this much glycerol, which is the backbone of triglyceride, therefore we have this amount of triglycerides. So even that is very nuanced.
So that's almost like an estimate, like LDL as well.
Yeah, absolutely. When LDL is an estimate, well done. Yeah, I was just, sorry, my bad. I didn't mention that as well. So we're talking about measurements here that aren't very precise, but they're the best we've got. So we use them. But I would definitely look more at lowering triglycerides than I would lowering LDL.
Thank you, Julie.
Wasn't there a thing about iodine? Have you missed that one? Steve Foster?
Maybe I've missed that one. Hang on 1 second. Let me just skip back. I've been a bit...
You've been lax.
Yes, I've been a bit remiss with my tagging.
Oh, remiss with your tagging. Oh, no. I'm in the Kenneth Williams mood today. I really am.
Yeah, I think I've missed the iodine one somewhere. I'll
Steve
find
Foster.
it. But anyway, in the meantime, I'll just bring this one up. Lord Corto, what is the reasoning behind telling us that high protein diets are not good for the kidneys? Is this an issue when eating carnivore?
What the reason is reductive thinking and actually not understanding kidney filtration rates. And sadly, there's even nephrologists that don't even know that there's different tests you can do. For instance, the cystatin C test, which is not dependent on protein intake, and that will give you a much better understanding of what is actually happening with the filtration rate. And we've also got the wonderful Jonathan, who strangely isn't in the room today, so I'm missing him, because he had the gold standard, which is like the nuclear tracer test, and his standard filtration rate with standard labs was okay, but with the nuclear tracer test for filtration, it was amazing. So these labs are very crude. And so is the reasoning behind telling us that high protein diets are not good for the kidneys, because one of the measurements that you look at, or two of the measurements, one is urea, which is the breakdown of protein breaking down into nitrogen and therefore be excreting out of your body in your urine. And the other thing is creatinine, which is protein metabolism and the breakdown of byproducts in the muscle. And of course, that is again with protein. So if they're high, it's alleged that you might have a filtration problem with the kidney, but that's because they're looking at people who eat 45 to 65% carbohydrates and doing these normative ranges and just saying, oh, that's gone up a bit, the kidney might be failing. Well, if you eat more of something that needs to be excreted when it's been metabolized, the numbers will go up. So urea will go up because you're eating more protein. Creatinine will go up if you're eating more protein. Creatinine will go up if you have more muscle. Creatinine will go up if you work out more. So it's the reasoning is poor reasoning and reductive thinking, and not really beneficial for human beings, because actually the reality is that in clinical settings and experience, I've seen filtration rates improve when people have been eating protein, and I've had people with very low GFRs, very low. One guy was actually told you may have 2 weeks to live. And what it was nutrition. It would, basically they were feeding him a diet that would make you more and more diabetic, loads and loads of carbohydrates. They also had supplements that were just basically sugars and seed oils. And within 3 weeks, he was off his diabetic meds. 3 weeks. 4 weeks off his blood pressure meds. It's frightening because there isn't joined up thinking.
So this is the thing with all these measurements that's really frustrating, is it enables the doctors to not think about anything.
Yes.
Like, because number says this. It's like Mr. Gumby. It's like number says this. Brain has to come out, It's it's just...
Yes, I know. And I think your wonderful friend Liz at Black Box Warning, what she said, and I just basically have taken it on board and pretty much used the way she says it, is basically the symptoms. You're getting a diagnostic code for the symptoms, and then that code is matched up to the medication. And
Right.
that's it. It's a check, a tick box exercise. We give that. That's the medication. That's the advice. And the worst thing is, you then extrapolate that to also the way they design the drugs. Well, the drugs are designed and preference is put on drugs that will give a side effect so they can sell another drug. Ah, boy.
Yeah, it's terrible. Makes me think of, the patient being admitted to hospital, and they say to him, have you got diabetes? And he says, no. And they'll say, we'll sort that out for you. Just stay with us for a few more days. I found Steve Foster's question. Is it possible to overconsume iodine? How does eating a tin of sardines to compare to 2 drops of Lugol's 5%?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that actually I've mentioned. In reality, the real world, what's actually happened with one person of mine who was taking the drops and dropped the drops because they weren't working, and just started to eat 2 to 4 sardines a day, and everything's resolved because the iodine from food tends to be better tolerated, and it's a better source of iodine than it is from the drops. So yeah, a tin of sardines will have like 35 to 65 micrograms of iodine, which is pretty good. Whereas 2 drops of 5% Lugol's will have maybe 10 times as much. Maybe 100 times as much, depends on how you squeeze it. So the easiest way to clear this is to do what's called an iodine clearance test, where you're given a prescribed amount of iodine, and then over the next 24 hours, your urine is collected, and if you excrete a certain percentage of iodine, don't forget you've just been given a mega dose, they will be able to say whether you're deficient or not. Or so they could actually say, well, you're excreting it all, so therefore you're not iodine deficient, and it's something else, if you follow my drift. All right, so if you have too much, and this can explain why people constantly need the drops, is you actually suppress the thyroid function. That's what happens. So yes, excess iodine can paradoxically keep the problem going. Because you're actually not really putting in a therapeutic dose. You know, well, when I say therapeutic dose, the correct dose, actually, because the therapeutic dose might actually be a mega dose when you first start. But anyway, yeah, so yes, you definitely can have too much. Definitely.
Right.
And I think if you pulled back on the drops, or you did the iodine clearance test and then did something like potassium iodide, which is a tablet, which is a very methodical prescribed dosage, you would be a lot better, because you'd be able to look at what your real needs are. So test, don't guess. And then you could dose in a very effective way. But right, in saying that, clinical experience, if people are taking Lugol's drops and they feel a million times better, great. That's great. But I'm just thinking you could be more nuanced on it if you wanted to.
G'day, Liz. How you doing? We were just talking about you.
Yeah.
All good things, of course. All good things.
Yeah, we were talking good things, but I wasn't thinking good things.
Dr. Menzel, bruxism can put tension on your dura mater, and that can affect your vagus nerve and can cause heart palpitations.
I don't think that's a question.
I
think
think
that's
no question, just a statement. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at the queue at the front.
Right.
Stephen Foster, I've already brought that one up. What's going on with my showing questions abilities tonight? FX Trader, do we get enough collagen from eating meat only, or do we need to have a supplement?
Yeah. Which is a good question, isn't it? I mean, going back to Volker, if that was a question, it didn't. I thought it was just a statement, and it's about grinding your teeth, isn't it? But anyway, let's go back to collagen. Do you get enough collagen from eating meat only, or do we have to supplement? Actually, muscle meat is low in collagen, and you tend to get collagen from things like skin and tendons and cartilage and bone broth and offal, the organ meats and stuff like that. So I think if you feel like you've got a problem with collagen, then try something like chicken drumsticks with the skin on, or try, like I say, a bone broth, something like that. My wife supplements with collagen, and it makes a world of difference. And she's a very good carnivore. She eats a lot of fish, and so the fish, we have if we have salmon, then we'll have the skin on the salmon. So I think there's a little clue there. If you can have the skin of something, that does help with the collagen. There is collagen, but
one of the really big collagen things that they eat in Japan in the north is tuna eyeballs.
Tuna eyeballs, really?
Yes. There was when I first got here, there was a show with kids, like showing you kids at school, and they were actually eating the eyeballs. It was pretty pretty gross.
Wow. Yeah, okay. Well, I suppose if you have tuna eyeballs, that will see you through the week. Sorry.
Yeah. So get some eyeballs into you, FX Trader. Have you ever eaten anything like that? Any weird stuff like that? Eyeballs, kind of.
Well, when I was at school in 15, I was a Saturday boy at a butcher's, and I used to make the sausages, and they would put eyeballs in the sausages and grind up the sausage meat, so people didn't know. So I would assume, yes, that that I've eaten eyeballs in the past, but not out of choice.
Yeah. Oh, what about pig's trotters for collagen?
Oh yes, people do that. Yes, I wouldn't eat that though. I don't like the look of it, and that's really sad, isn't it? But yeah, it's just the look.
Yeah. I'd be worried about if it had athlete's foot or something, you know. Okay. Love life. I instinctively want to ignore my doctor's recommendations to start thyroid pills for the rest of my life. hypothyroidism. Any thoughts or previous content I should watch?
Well, in my online school community, I have an excellent ebook all about thyroid, which is really, really good. And then there's also a commentary on a thing with Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. Brownstein, who's quite an expert with thyroid. And I've got videos there. So, yeah, you could join my online Common Sense Carnivore group and, you don't have to say. I think it's worth it just to get those things, those ebooks and also the videos. But we can't tell you to ignore doctors' recommendations because that would be irresponsible of us. We're not doctors, it's not a one-to-one relationship, so we can't do that. But we can talk about instincts, and gut feelings are important too. And if you've been going to your doctor and you've had some medications and they haven't worked in the way that you thought, or they've made things worse, then I understand your instincts. Thyroid pills for the rest of your life is very analogous to people being told that they've got type 2 diabetes for the rest of their life. People have proved this wrong. And it's as simple as that. I've had people reverse their thyroid problems and I have people reverse their diabetes. So, yeah, there's lots of research you could do. There's lots of things that aren't medications. But I don't know your full story because you could have had a scan and there could be things, there could be mechanical things that are problematic with your thyroid. I don't know how you got to the diagnosis. So, have you had the full thyroid panel? And that's the proper full thyroid panel, which is TSH and T4, free T4, 3T3, T3, reverse T3, TPO, TG antibodies, and also selenium and zinc, some cofactors. So there's lots of things that you could do. And then diet. I mean, that's the biggest one that doctors miss. They don't talk about diet, and diet is the actual cornerstone. In fact, iodine, which is an element from the Earth's crust, is absolutely essential for the production of thyroid hormones. If there's not enough iodine, you won't make enough. So, so many things you could do to look at this and get improvements.
Okay. Question from Phil. Collagen, isn't it going to be denatured and digested like any other protein?
Yeah. Collagen is broken down into amino acids during digestion, absolutely. But the key amino acids that are released, so we're looking at glycine, we're looking at proline and hydroxyproline, are going to be there in abundance. So it's been upregulated. So basically, when they do studies on collagen, and this is the basis of why Jane started to take it, it does seem to reach the target tissues. And it does seem to stimulate fibroblast activity. So, and also clinical experience. Once she started taking collagen, her joints felt better. So there's quite good science to it, but you're absolutely right. Yes, it gets denatured, and then you end up with the 3 amino acids, but they're in abundance. And I think it's that's then helpful to the body. So it could be a bit like iodine, what we just said. You take the iodine drops and you're giving the body the raw materials to make the thing. So when we talk about a therapeutic dose, we overdose, I suppose, the iodine to just make sure that there is going to be a surplus supply to make sure that it gets to where it needs to get to. Great question, Phil. Well, that's Phil. He makes me think all the time. By the way, my nose is uncomfortable because my dog got overexcited and he licks my nose, but this morning he bit it.
No.
He was so overexcited. His tail was going like a million miles an hour and he bit my nose.
Oh, no.
It's sweet.
No.
It's very sweet.
How's he doing? He's
brilliant. Yeah,
doing
brilliant.
well?
He's at his favourite. Well, actually, he's with Jane's dad this morning because I'm doing this and she's out working and we don't like to leave him on his own at all. And then he's going for his, what's the word? For his sleepover because he stays with this retired couple because next week Jane and I are having a week off. Oh, I need to mention that. I can't do next week because I'm having a week off.
Cool bananas, no worries.
But he goes to his favourite retired couple for a week, and they've got this massive garden, which he loves. I mean, the thing is, it's so nice because when we drop him off, he runs to the door. He can't wait to see them. Once he's in their house and in the garden, we can go. He doesn't care. He's not looking around for us. It's really nice to know. So yeah.
So I love about
fantastic.
dogs, they're so good at building relationships with people, right? And remembering, oh, this person's special because of this, and I like playing with this person and that kind of thing.
Yeah. When he comes back, he's more playful and happier than we've ever seen him because they're retired. They can really give him the attention. And also they've got this huge extended family who all love dogs. So he just spends all of his time on laps, and they got a huge garden. We've got a tiny little thing, you know, when they can leave the door open and he can run out and chase pigeons and investigate. He just loves it. You know,
Yeah.
I feel bad leaving him, but I also know that he's actually having a really good time, and he's having a holiday from me. So that's probably good. And then when he comes back, he's just he's so excited to see us. It's fantastic.
Oh, nice. Carolyn is asking, the heart is a muscle. Is it really an organ meat?
Yes, it's both technically, which is brilliant. Yeah, it is an organ, but it's also a muscle. And it is sort of nutritionally classified as offal and organ meat. So yeah, but it's brilliant. I mean, it's very cheap. We've had, we've had heart, and you've got to prepare it. You've got to be careful with how you cook it and make sure that it's, sliced the right way. But it's, good source of heme iron, particularly B12, zinc, selenium, all that. And so, yeah, it's both. Good question.
Is that like beef heart?
Yeah.
I think in a drunken stupor one night I tried chicken hearts, but yeah, I can't remember what it tasted like. Yeah.
Probably like chicken.
Yeah, when you've got a couple of liters of beer in you, everything tastes like chicken, right? Okay, and we've got another question from Brandon. Would a low CAC score be enough evidence to put to a doctor when getting off statins? My mum is 79, carnivore for a year and going gangbusters, but still on statins.
Well, it sounds like maybe your mum needs the evidence as well. Well, I'm going to be diplomatic. It should be, but whether it will be is another matter. I mean, the whole point of a statin is because they're worried that you're going to have coronary artery calcium buildup. But a 0 score won't necessarily make them change their mind, or a score of 100. I don't know. It's a really hard question because I would hope so. I would hope so that they would say, well, you don't really need the statins. And also, is your mum having side effects? So, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that because I can't get into the head of doctors, to be honest. So, yeah, I would hope so. That's my diplomatic answer. But I don't think it will be.
Yeah, I'm kind of, glass half full, kind of very pessimistic and cynical about doctors when it comes to statins and things. And I even feel like this shift where you hear doctors talking more now about how it's about controlling inflammation and all that kind of thing. It's like a pivot because they're not actually that effective at lowering cholesterol. So, it's more of a pivot to kind of go, well, it's, making sure that everything's good in your body and whatever, so they can still sell the things or still prescribe the things.
Yeah. And I think this is the problem, because actually, I mean, I'll take issue with what you say. They do lower cholesterol, but they don't make you live longer. I mean, that's the whole point of health, isn't it? So they do what they say on the tin, which is lower LDL cholesterol readings. I'm careful with my language there, but I don't think there's any test that shows that they improve your lifespan.
Mm.
And also there's more chance you'll get a side effect. So if we get into what's the word? If we get into numbers needed to treat, for instance, that would be a better thing, right? So many statins will have a number needed to treat. If you don't know what that means, all medications have a number needed to treat. So when you go to the doctor and he gives you a medication, you think, oh, this medication's for me. No, this medication has this NNT number, and it might be 100. So what that means is they've got to give that tablet to 100 people for one to get a benefit. Whereas the number needed to harm might be 25 to 1. These are relatively analogous to the real numbers for statins, by the way. So you're 4 times more likely to have a side effect than to have benefit. Well, that alone would put me off, to be honest. That alone, those stats alone.
Yeah, it's like the doctor says to you, well, there's a 1 in 100 chance this is going to save your life. There's a 1 in 4 chance this is going to kill you. You know, you want to take this?
Yes. Yeah, it's frightening, and I must admit they're the bane of my life, statins, which is why I wrote the book about that as well. So that's another thing you could look at. I do have a statins, The Truth They Tried to Bury. It's on Amazon, or you can get it as an ebook. And if you join my online community, you get it free in the first month. So, wow. I'm not here to plug stuff. It's just coincidental that I've got this running this month.
And I'm guessing your book doesn't have a foreword by Thomas Dayspring.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his. From Yomi, is it important to buy organically raised beef or chicken if eating the liver, or is conventional okay to eat better than not eating the liver? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question. So organic versus conventionally raised. Firstly, the liver, don't forget, is a detoxing machine. Basically, that's what it does. It detoxes. So if you have organic or conventional, you're not going to have any toxins stored in like conventional compared to organic. I would say, well, yeah, I will answer your question. Better than not eating liver at all. So conventional liver is better than not eating liver at all. Definitely. And if you can get organically raised beef or chicken, then you will get a slightly better omega-3 profile and nutrient density and those things. But yeah, I mean, the question answers many things in its sort of own right. So if you can afford organically raised beef or chicken and you want to eat liver, then it is better than not eating liver. But if you can only afford conventional liver, that's still better than not eating liver. Some people, if you don't like liver, then there are liver supplements you can take. But you don't have to eat a lot. I mean, I probably have liver once a week, maybe twice a week. Not much of it. I always hide the taste with a lot of bacon. So, you know, liver and bacon is a thing. So, yeah, it's a good question. But you will get more from organically raised. You'll get better omega-3 profile, better nutrient density, probably slightly better CoQ10, better B12, K2, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, good question. Really good question.
I have severe, painful leg, foot, and arms cramps at night. I can't sleep. I'm already on 80% on high-fat carnivore. Please guide me. Electrolytes, salt.
Yeah, try salt first, definitely. Yeah, most cramps are electrolyte issues, not hydration issues. Well, this is where people confuse hydration with drinking lots of water. Drinking pure water is never going to fix electrolyte balances or imbalances, I should say. So if you have your water and you have mineral water in a glass bottle, that's about as good as you can get. You can add a little bit of salt like Dave's doing, and you'll see a lot of resolution. Definitely. High fat is okay, but you don't have to. Cramps are not normally associated with fat levels. It's always pretty much electrolyte issues, electrolyte imbalances. So I would say that. But You know, if you do have electrolytes, it does work in reverse. So Wonder Wendy is saying potassium gets rid of cramps immediately. The potassium, when you add that, that will actually attach to water. So that will retain a little bit of water, unless you overdrink pure water, in which case you deplete them both. So Wonder Wendy's probably got a very good fluid balance going on. But I would start the other way around. I would make sure that you have enough salt. You have make sure that you don't drink lots of pure water. Make sure your urine is slightly straw coloured, and you'll be laughing.
Yeah. And yeah, as you may not have been here for the beginning of this, but yeah, as I said, this is what I took Coach Stephen's advice, and I'm sleeping better, and I'm much more stable when it comes to like thinking about coffee and stuff like that. I didn't realize the grogginess at the start of the day and needing that coffee kind of heart starter at the beginning of the day was actually because my body was so depleted of salt. And you know, the other thing the AI was telling me is similar to what Coach Stevens just said, is like drinking as much water as I was, like that's also clearing out the salt, the, you know, any salt that you had as well, you know, because you're told, as you've said before, Coach Steven, you know, we're told drink 8 glasses of water a day minimum kind of thing. And, you know, so we all feel like we're doing the right thing by drinking so much water, but we're flushing all these essential things out of our body.
Yep. Absolutely. It's really, really obvious as well. So next week I'm not here.
No worries. We'll just skip a week, right?
Yeah. But yeah, following week back. Just wanted to let everyone know. You know, I just need to recharge my batteries. I've worked.
Yeah. So are you, where are you going?
Well, I don't want to say, because
a secret location, undisclosed location.
Not a secret location. It's purely because I want people to know that we're off. We could be at home, you see.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh well, have a wonderful time off or vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 6 days. I mean, just 6 days of not working. But obviously, there are people that
it's
are
important,
with me.
though.
Yeah. You know, the people that I've got consults with, who WhatsApp me with updates. I'll still be doing that, but it'd just be no live Q&As, and my wonderful online community will have to do without me for a week doing the meetings in there. But you know, I think, you know, I realised the other day that I've probably done about 90 days in a row, and I just need a few days off, I think.
Yeah. Nice. So guys, thank you. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. I've got a sneeze coming on for the last 5 minutes. Thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate you being with us this evening, and we will be back same bad time, same bad channel 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks, Coach Stephen.
It's been a pleasure. As always, Dave, you're such a gentleman. I'm trying to stretch this out so you sneeze online.